Rise and shine, superstar. You're watching Provoking Purpose with Lele and Nsibande.
Rise and shine, superstars, and welcome back to another episode of Provoking Purpose with Lele and Nsibande. Before we get into this video, I just have a little favor to ask from you. If you enjoy this channel's content, please make sure that you do subscribe and share it with your friends. Also, if you are new, please make sure you subscribe and join the family, and let's just grow and glow, okay? So I have 3 steps for you in order to become the main character of your own story and to take back your power and to navigate your solitude. Why solitude? If you want to channel your significance, if you want to become more of an individual, you cannot do that by always being around other people. You need to be able to define yourself, and you can only do that by removing yourself and putting yourself in a place where there is no way you can be influenced by other people's perspectives. I mean, we're always going to be informed and influenced by other people's perspectives, but you need to make the conscious, deliberate effort to remove yourself from people and choose a time where you're going to allow only you to dictate how you view the world and what you value in it. You do not become an icon by always having featured work. As an artist, you need to have a body of work that can stand on its own. As a person, you need to be a person who can stand on their own. Who are you without the people who are always around you? Do you have your own identity, or are you always featuring? Are you always living in somebody else's story, featuring in somebody else's story, and not being the main character of your own story? Step number 1 is stop catching rides and get in your own car. What this basically means is that you need to stop being so codependent. You need to get in your own car, as in take back your own independence. Do things on your own, exist on your own, or at least try to go to the grocery store on your own. Try to have a meal by yourself. As a person who has struggled with codependency for most of my life, I get it. You want to give so that somebody else can give to you what you do not have. But listen to me, you cannot give from an empty bucket, right? And people can sense that. People can sense when you are needy for love because you cannot give love to yourself. And the greatest hack of all time that I have learned is that if I just love me, I don't need anyone else to come and love me because I've done the job. The bucket is full. Anybody else is overflow. Instead of having to go back and forth, I pour into your bucket. Now I'm empty, pour into my bucket. Now you're empty, pour into your bucket. That kind of a cycle is toxic. And I think we grew up in a society that taught us that that is how it's supposed to be, that you're supposed to give to people and they will give to you. You need to give to yourself first. Right? Oxygen mask on an airplane. When it comes down, make sure you are breathing first so that you can help other people breathe instead of fixing other people and hoping that once they are fixed, they will come back and fix you. I'm not gonna make it seem like it's not scary to exist on your own. It is very scary, but you will not actually have full respect for yourself until you're able to do that, until you're able to say, I am my own person, whether people desert me or not, whether people care about me or not, whether people check up on me or not, I am still okay, I am enough for me. So I need you to do it. Get out of other people's cars. Stop featuring on other people's tracks. Start going solo. Start doing things on your own. Small things. I'm not saying move to Alaska and just start a new life all by yourself. No, we still need people. We still need community. And not because we cannot survive without them, but because our nature requires for us to just interact with people in order for us to be more creative and more progressive, right? Collaboration of ideas, etc., etc. But what I'm saying is that you need to take back small things that can belong to you and you alone. If it is going to buy your bread, go and buy your bread alone. Have that 15 minutes a day where you are alone and not escaping from yourself with YouTube and music and this and this and that. No, I'm talking about sit with yourself or enjoy your own company. Listen to your thoughts. Reflect on your day or on a moment or how you're feeling about the season of your life. Reflection is so important. Life is constantly trying to teach you things. every single day, but you need to pay attention, otherwise you're going to miss it. And you cannot pay attention if you're always with people. This next point has to do with what I said previously, and that is switch off the radio and stop being afraid to be alone. It is important that when you are in your solitude or are being intentional about being on your own, that you don't escape from yourself, that you don't try to fill the space with things that are going to distract you from what you are there to do. The Bible speaks about withdrawing to desolate places, and desolate, the word actually means empty and void and deserted, like there's nothing there. And it's crazy because a lot of people think that when that emptiness is there, then that is when depression starts. That's when you start being not okay. When really it's like that void is so important, because when it is most quiet, that is when you're able to hear God's voice so clearly. That is when you're able to get direction so clearly, right? You cannot hear where you're supposed to go if the radio is on. You're going to hear the words to Mariah Carey whilst listening to Go Left, Go Right. What if Beyonce saying to the left, and your navigator is saying go to the right? How are you going to discern the difference, right? It's difficult. It's very difficult to discern the difference compared to if you just switch off the radio and listen to the voice that you are allowing to lead you. So many of us focus on creating conditions for ourselves to make us feel okay instead of confronting the scary things. It's okay to feel darkness, okay? It is very okay to feel darkness, but it is not okay to allow that darkness to dictate your life, right? So with me personally, my personal experience of solitude is that I felt the darkness and I allowed God to speak to that darkness and create light. And I realized that whenever I isolated from people and I bring darkness into that space, that's when I become depressed. That's when I become sad. That's when I have thoughts that don't typically run through my mind. But because I'm alone and I'm listening to things that speak to the darkness and add onto it instead of listening to light that can cast away the darkness. It's important to know that everything should be done in moderation, but at the same time, it's just like you need to be conscious of the fact that you cannot spend all your time with people all the time. Like, when do you get time to be yourself? How do you even know who you are? You know, when people just tell you to be yourself and you're just like, how do I be myself? I struggled with that question for so long in my life. For the longest time, I did not know. I'm so sorry about this light here. The sun is setting. For the longest time, I did not know what it meant to be myself until I started to actually spend time with myself and actually get to know myself, because I was constantly running away from me. I always wanted to chill with people. If I'm not with friends on the streets, I'm in my house with my family, and the only time that I am alone is when I'm listening to something that is allowing me to escape myself or sleeping, right? So in that time, when can God even speak to me? When can I even speak to myself and be like, what do you like? Like, what do you like? What do you want out of life? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What would you like to see before the end of your life? These are important questions, but you cannot ask them whilst other people are there to influence your answers, because then they won't be your answers. The last step is to drive with intention. So the first step is to get out of other people's cars and get into your own. The second step is to switch off your radio and don't be afraid to be alone. And the last step is to drive with intention. I need you to live your life with intention. I need you to decide on where you want to go, or where you would at least like to end up, and make decisions that will take you closer to that place. We are always going to make mistakes, but there are certain mistakes that we just make because we don't actually know where we are going. So I feel like when you actually know that I want to be a singer, or I want to be this, or I want to give this to the world, you are able to know when you are not doing that, and you are able to let go of that thing as soon as possible, because it is taking time away from things that actually need you to focus on them. Journeying with the aim of a destination, I won't lie, has an upside and a downside. Let's talk about the downside really quickly. Jordan Peterson once spoke about how defining success is so scary for so many people, because defining success not only means this is the goal, but it also means that you are defining failure, which means if you do not reach the goal, we know what it looks like to fail. It's so much more easier to go through life not expecting to hit anything because you feel like you're avoiding disappointment. But what a small life to live. Listen to me, you are going to fall on that journey going towards your mountain peak. You are going to fall on your way to the top, but it is okay. Why? Because we get back up and we try again. It is not a reason to not try. It is not a reason to not live a life worth living just because you're afraid of being hurt. Anybody who has had anything worth having has been through failure, has been through hurts, has been through moments where they are discouraged, where they are demotivated, where they do not know what to do. But all I know is that if you want it and you believe that it belongs to you, you have to keep on going for it, and you need to journey with intention. Success is never an accident. You cannot be successful on accident. It is so precise. It is a decision to decide every single day. The upside, I think, is from a quote by Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe. And he spoke about how once you know what you want, or something along those lines, once you know what you want, then it's easier to discern what you don't want. It takes so much pressure off of your life. It takes so much stress off of your life because you're able to discern immediately what is for you and what is not for you. You don't waste your time doing things that you think might work but you're not sure, because you know where you are going. If you know you're going to Dubai, you wouldn't go to China. Like, why are you going to China? You're going to Dubai. You just need to go straight there, or take the plane that is gonna take you there, right? You need to be intentional about where you are trying to go, and when you do so, it'll make deciding to go there, or the journey to go there, so much easier, in that distractions will come and you will be able to know what is a distraction. Now, the last point that I want to bring up in this video is that you do need to be careful, as Dr. Miles Monroe has said, that you do need to be careful of people who are not going anywhere, because they will always want you to come with, right? So be careful of people who don't have any goals, because you will end up neglecting your goals. Have you realized when you hang around people who are driven, you all of a sudden get this desire to actually achieve something, anything, right? The same thing happens with people who are apathetic. I know that this video is really asking you to do something that is really difficult. I struggled with it for surely the first 6 months of me doing it. I still struggle to this day. I have days where I'm just like, yo, I just can't be alone today. But it is important to push yourself, to spend time with yourself, to get to know yourself, to enjoy your own company in the good times and the bad, with the laughs and the tears, right? Be that support structure that you need to yourself, and then ask people to fill in the gaps. But do not be a codependent person. Don't be a person who needs everybody else to breathe, because people will take advantage of you. People will abuse the fact that you cannot exist without them, and you will only get hurt in that process. This is the end of the video. I really hope this video was helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like, comment, and share it with a friend. Also subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.